I will be starting us at the wall today. So just bring your mat close to the wall or have access to one. You can always step off the mat as well. It doesn't need to be meeting the wall. Okay, so let's get started. And we'll begin standing. So just come to your mat, feel your feet below you on the ground. I'll recommend just a little bit of a wider stance than your hips. Feel your feet securely below you and just allow your arms to sway from side to side, forwards and backwards. You might have a little bend in the knees, softness in the knees. Just let the arms go. That's my dog's ears. You can see in the corner of the screen. She may come in and out of the frame. So over time, you can start creating a little bit of a bigger momentum with the arms, just swinging them a little bit higher, almost shoulder height. And then let the mind go a little bit. Every once in a while, you might even consider doing full circles. Just let yourself be playful and curious. Loosening up the shoulders, because that will be our focus today. Continue on with this, just a couple more nice big arm swings. Begin slowing them down, making them smaller again. And eventually coming back to stillness. All right, so now we're going to head over to the wall. Let's begin by bringing your back body to the wall. And if you don't have one close to you, you can lie down onto your mat. So I understand that we just had some snow in Toronto and some other areas in Ontario. So let's do some snow angels here. Set your heels just slightly away from the wall. Lean back, feel your hips, shoulders, and mid-back coming into contact with the wall, as well as the back of your head. Bring the backs of your hands to the wall. Start slowly drawing the arms up halfway. This is where it gets a little bit trickier. You might start feeling the thoracic spine, your mid-spine, trying to peel off as the arms reach overhead. Do your best to keep them in contact. And very slowly we'll go back down. Let's do this just about 2 to 3 more times. Going slowly, mindfully, understanding how the body wants to move. Perhaps you're resisting, thrusting the ribs out ahead of you. Good, and let's all do one more of those. Eventually your arms will drop back down and we can step away from the wall and flip around so you're facing it this time. Let's bring both hands to the wall and spread those fingertips wide like you're doing a plank. You can walk your heels back slightly so the torso comes on an angle. And let's focus on the shoulders. So these are scapular push-ups where you press the palms into the wall, try to puff up in the upper back, the area between the shoulder blades, spread them apart. And then we'll draw the shoulder blades together, squeeze them. Go back and forth a few times, opening, widening the upper back, and squeezing it back together. You might start feeling a little bit of warming coming into the shoulders. These are really isolated movements. It's really going to prepare us to bear any weight onto the palms and keep a really strong stance. Okay, from here, let's come into a downward facing dog at the wall. So just walk your heels a little further back, drop your head so it's roughly in line with the arms, one arm on each side of the ear, and just find a nice big stretch under the arms. Try to resist again, just dropping the chest down. Do your best to keep it in line. The arms are nice and strong here. This is a lot of flexion into the shoulders. Take one more breath. And we'll start tiptoeing ourselves back upright. Bring the hands down by your side. So it doesn't matter which arm we start on, but we'll take one arm, the one that's closer to the wall, bring the fingertips so that they point back behind you and bring the palm to the wall. We'll just work into the wrist slightly here. Everyone will have a bit of a different mobility range and what they want to be working with. So start bringing the fingertips a little bit further back behind, and maybe eventually they'll start pointing down. Just exploring that rotation in the shoulder and finding a big stretch all the way from the heel of your hands into your armpit. Let's head in the direction of bringing the fingertips to point down yet again. And this one's a little bit fun. Yet again, you have to let the mind go a bit here to get playful. So this one of my teachers likes to call dancing with yourself. There's only one direction which you can go. And for me, it is back behind me to my left. Depends on which arm you have. Start trying to keep the heel of your hand onto the wall. Do a little twist, and you do a full circle. It may or may not have worked out. We can try going the other way, spinning to come back, facing forward. Okay, so play one or two more times, trying to keep that hand onto the wall, doing a little duck under it, dancing with yourself. And once again, the other side. I guess this is a very COVID-friendly dance move, isn't it? Okay. Let's take the fingertips this time, bring them up so they point upwards. Walk your feet out a little bit more from the wall. So it's like you're doing a variation on side plank, and reach the other arm out as well. Flexed into the wrist, just like you're pressing the other wall away. This might be a little suggestion of what is to come. Good. And we can come upright just to do the other side. So I'm going to use this brick wall here. Taking your other hand to the wall, spread the fingertips wide. Start rotating the fingertips. They start pointing back behind you. And maybe wiggling so they start pointing down below. You can play as well just by shifting and opening the chest a little bit more away from you. It might start sparking that big stretch under the arm. Giving yourself that opportunity to play and feel all those different feelings in the wrist and the shoulder. Good. Okay, now realigning the hands so the fingertips point down. Getting a little playful again, and we'll do this dancing with ourselves. So bending the knees, finding which way that your body will allow you to go. Do a little spin, look the other way. Now we've got big internal rotation into the shoulder. And then be a little ballerina spin to the other side in our COVID-friendly dance. We've got a lot of external rotation. So go back and forth, maybe one or two more times. Good. When you're all done with that, we'll take the hand, point the fingertips up, walk the feet out slightly so the body is on a slant. Reach the opposite arm out and press the opposite wall away. You feel really expansive, proudly take up some space here. And gently, we can release, come back to 2 feet. Rest those arms down by your side and give the feet just a gentle sway. Let's take a step to the top of the mat. And before we flow, let's take 3 breaths together to ground us. Allow the eyes to shut. Bring all the air out of your lungs. Begin inhaling through the nose, all the way to the top. And exhale, let it come out of the mouth. Inhaling again, all the way to the top. And let it go. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Blinking the eyes back open, and we'll begin to flow, get the body a bit warmer. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, from the waist, hinge forward. As you inhale, slide your right toes back behind you. And exhale, lower the knee to the ground. Now we're going to keep the right palm under the shoulder on the mat and float the left arm up to the sky. Take a look up at that hand and really try to stretch it as far as it goes. Keep gazing at the fingertips and start reaching the hand back behind you to the back wall. Start rotating it so it slides by the pinky side of your front foot and then back to the sky. So big rotation, 3 in total, into the shoulder. After about 3 rotations, we'll bring the left hand back down to the ground. Let's heel toe the left foot out of the way, so out to the side, and slide it back behind you so you're in a tabletop position. On your inhale, we'll come forwards with the chest, bend the elbows halfway lower into a supported chaturanga. Press all the way back up, and then sink your hips to heels in child's pose. So slow between that 2 more times. Inhale, roll up to table. Exhale, start lowering our supported chaturanga. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, child's pose. As you do this, come forwards to plank. Really try to stay strong in the area between the shoulders. As you bend the elbows, continue to spread them wide. Press all the way back up and sink the heels to child's pose. Stay here for 2 breath rounds. Walk those fingertips a little further forward, trying to stretch it under the arms. Pull all the way back up to table. We'll start lowering through our chaturanga and land on the belly. Point the toes, engage the glutes, keep lots of length in the back body, and we'll squeeze the shoulder blades together. Take a breath in, lift the chest part way for baby cobra, and exhale, wave it down. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Last one, almost hover the hands if possible. And exhale, lower down. Press the palms into the mat. Send your hips to heels in child's pose. On the way, tuck the toes and we'll lift on up to our first downward dog of this practice. Take a moment here, pedal through the feet, spread your fingertips wide, and try to feel that line of energy connecting with the earth through the palms that comes all the way up the arms, through the shoulders, and through your hips. One more breath. On your next inhale, reach the right leg to the sky. Take a look forwards. As you exhale, we'll step that foot between the hands. Take your time to get it there. Continue to leave the left palm of the ground. The right arm stretches to the sky. This time we'll go forwards with the arm. Right arm reaches forward. Bring it down to graze the ground by your pinky toe and all the way back up. 2 to go. Let that rotation come into the shoulder. Good. Let the hands settle back down. We're going to spring forward so your left foot meets your right. Lengthen the spine out on your breath in. Exhale, float back down. Ground through the feet, rise to stand, inhale. And exhale, hands come down by your side. Take 2 breaths. Next breath in, reach the arms to the sky. Breathing out, hinge forwards over your legs. Inhale, step the left leg back behind you. And exhale, settle the knee on the ground. Left palm stays on the ground, right arm stretches to the sky. And with the knee down, we'll rotate backwards. Right arm reaches to the back. Swipe it just past your front foot. Back to the sky. 2 more big rotations. The next time the hand comes to the ground, wiggle your right foot out of the way, and we're going to slide it back behind you into your tabletop. So stay firm in the shoulders, find that little puff into the upper back. We're going to bend the elbows as the chest comes forward, halfway lower to chaturanga. Press yourself back up and sink your heels back for child's pose. 2 more full rounds. Inhale to table. Exhale, supported chaturanga. Inhale, table. Exhale, child's pose. Last one. When your hips land back in child's pose, let yourself stay there for 2 more breath rounds. Find that breath and find a stretch under the arms. Rising all the way back up, passing through your chaturanga to land on the stomach. Keep those toes and glutes active. This time around, we're gonna tent the hands off the mat. So find a little bit of a wider stance. I also like to point my toes almost as wide as the mat. Inhale, pressing the fingertips into the ground, wave the spine up, and then exhale, roll it back down. So you might go a little bit higher than before. Still really use the back body and glutes and legs to help support you. After your third one, bring the hands back by your side. Begin pressing yourself back to child's pose, tuck the toes on the way, and straighten your legs out for downward facing dog. Give yourself a moment here to get comfortable again in this shape. Let's stretch the left leg to the sky and a big breath in. Take a look ahead of you and a big step forward comes between the hands. Keeping the right palm on the ground, stretch the left arm to the sky. The arm's gonna go forward this time. The fingertips go towards the front. Graze the ground by your pinky side of the foot and back behind you. 2 to go. Settle the palm back on the ground, look forward to where you're going and spring with the right foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen out from tailbone to crown. Exhale, float back down. Rise all the way up on your breath in. And exhale, hands come down beside you. Take a moment, let that one settle. Next breath in, we'll reach the arms up to the sky. And from the waist, hinge forward. On your breath in, slide the right toes back behind you. And exhale, settle the knee to the ground. This time around, we're going to become vertical with the spine over your hips and reach the arms up overhead. So take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, pull the elbows down into a cactus shape. Take a breath in, lean back a little bit and squeeze the shoulder blades together. As you exhale, we're going to start rounding forwards, bring the forearms to touch and separate the shoulder blades apart. Inhale, flowing back, opening up the heart space. And exhale, bring them forward. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the hands back down to the ground. We'll tuck the back toes, lift your knee, and step to downward facing dog. Using your inhale, ripple the spine forwards to bring shoulders over wrist and plank. And exhale, lift those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forwards to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ripple yourself forwards to plank and we'll lower to your stomach. You can use your knees to come down and support yourself. When you arrive, point the toes a little bit wider, so close to the edges of the mat, and we'll tent the hands again off the mat. Inhale, ripple the spine up. And as you exhale, we'll shimmy the shoulders, drop the right one, look to the left. Inhale, wave the spine up. Exhale, go the other way, left shoulder drops. One more each side. Inhale to lift. Exhale, drop the right, look to the left. Inhale to lift. Exhale to drop the left shoulder and look to the right. Inhale, we'll rise through center. And use your exhale to lower back through center. Bring your hands by your side. And we're going to press back to downward facing dog. Have a little check-in with the breath. See where it is. See if you can get out of your head and more into your body. One more breath. Let's reach the right leg up for a three-legged dog. Take a look between the hands and step forward. Good. Press through the feet. We'll rise all the way up for a high lunge. Bring your arms with you. Good. So arms reach up overhead. Make sure your feet feel nice and grounded. So I like to widen my stance about hip distance. Good. And now take your right arm, drop it down and reach it to the back. Now try to embody that sort of playful feel again. Let the arms sway. Do your best to keep both hip bones facing forwards as you do so. The next time your right arm reaches to the back and left to the front, keep them there. And you could continue looking forwards or very slowly open up your gaze to the right thumb behind you. Let's begin shifting back forwards with the gaze to the left thumb. And now we'll start reaching that hand down so it comes to the ground under the shoulder and your right arm reaches back to the sky. Let's bring that top hand down, touch the ground, and we'll spring forward so both feet meet at the top. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, float back down. Rise all the way up on your inhale. And exhale, hands come down beside you. Wonderful. 2 breaths between sets. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, float forward. This time it's your left leg that slides back behind you. And settle the knee to the ground. Come vertical over the hips, reach the arms up. And bend the elbows into cactus. On the in-breath, lean back, squeeze the shoulder blades. And exhale, start coming forwards, round the spine, forearms come to touch. Inhale, open the heart up. Exhale, scoop and round. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Lower the fingertips to the ground. Activate the back leg, lift the knee, and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple yourself forwards to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forwards to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forwards to plank. And this time we lower. Use your knees or not to get all the way down to the belly. Point the toes, widen the feet, and tent the hands nice and wide as well. Inhale, lift the chest up through center. As you exhale, drop the left shoulder, look to the right. Inhale, lift through center. Exhale, go the other way, drop the right. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, drop your left shoulder. Inhale, lift through center. Gilly is taking the whole screen here. Exhale, drop the right. We'll rise back up through center, just to lower through center. And we'll meet in a downward facing dog. So bring your hands close by your side. Make your way back. Stay here for one more breath. Use your inhale to stretch the left leg back behind you. Take a look forwards, we'll step between the hands. When you feel ready, press through the feet, rise on up to a high lunge. Good. Okay, so make sure it's a nice wide stance so that when we do flow the upper half, we're nice and rooted. Keep the right arm reaching up. Just take the left hand, drop it down by your side and reach it back behind you. So let that start this momentum of just swinging the arms back and forth. And your anchors are your feet. The next time your left arm reaches back, right one forwards, keep them there. Expand them away from each other and then decide if you want to play with the gaze, opening it up to the left thumb. If you did switch where you're looking, bring it back forward. We'll start reaching the right hand to the ground under the shoulders. The left one rotates to the sky. Let's bring that top one down as well to join the party on the ground. And we'll spring all the way forward so both feet meet. Inhale, lengthen out the spine. Exhale, float down. Roots of the feet will rise to stand on your breath in. And exhale, hands down beside you. Keeping your feet about hip distance, we'll change it up a little bit. Bring a big bend into the knees and sweep your arms up overhead, sitting back into a chair. Sit just a little bit lower. And then again, just a little bit lower. Let's start pouring forwards over your legs, straighten them, and swing your hands behind your back to clasp the palms. You might start letting those hands fall back, letting gravity take them to open up the shoulders. And I like to bring a big bend in my knees. Don't make it about the hamstrings in this moment. Make it about the shoulders. So you can have your belly all the way to the thighs if that feels nice. Bring your hands back to the low back and release them to the ground. Lengthen everything out on your breath in. As you breathe out, touch the ground. And we're going to step back to plank. Take a breath in and plank. And exhale, we'll lower all the way down to your stomach. Inhale, your choice. It could be up dog or maybe cobra. And as you exhale, we'll meet at downward facing dog. Use your inhale, reach the right leg back behind you. And your exhale to step forwards between the hands. Take your time. When it gets there, press through the feet. We'll come all the way up to stand for a high lunge. All right, so let's split the arms. Right arm goes back, left arm forward. We've been here before. You bring that gaze back behind you as well. Your choice. Now we could bring our gaze back forwards if you were looking back behind you. Keep your feet as they are and rotate the spine so you face forwards and the arms are still reaching out from side to side. I'll move around so you can see me. Now let's flex into the wrists so the fingertips point up and imagine you're pressing the walls away. Now let's imagine you're juicing two oranges on opposite walls here. So one shoulder drops down, the other one stays up, and then switch. Just go back and forth a few times. Good. Okay. Now we're gonna open up to warrior two. So allow your heel to pivot and drop, bring your arms with you and keep that flex into the wrist. So we're expanding here, proudly take up the space and press those walls away. Now take a moment. You might notice my torso is leaning a little bit further over my front leg. Give yourself the opportunity to reach your fingertips forwards and backwards. You can let the wrists go if you'd like. Do a little surfing move. And then try to settle your torso over your hips. Good. Okay, so we'll reverse the shape. Bring your left hand to the back leg, reach the right arm to the sky. Try to enjoy a really big stretch on the right side body, but yet again, not thrusting those ribs out. Keep them somewhat contained. Now we'll go the opposite way. So the forearm comes to thigh, rest it there. Take the left hand, like you're an air guitarist or in a rock band of some sort, sweep it underneath of you, then bring it to frame your face. Now let's continue with that motion. We'll do 2 more big circles. But the next time it comes up to frame the face, you can keep it there. Try to spiral the heart open and gaze up at the ceiling or up at the sky, wherever you are. Good. Press with the feet, reach up with the hands, come back up to our familiar warrior 2. We'll straighten out the front leg and pivot the right toes to the long edge of the mat. Reach your hands behind the back, clasp the palms together. Draw them down the back body, take a big breath in to stretch the spine to the sky. And as you exhale, fold on forwards over your legs. So yet again, we're not going to focus too much on the hamstrings. So you might even bring a soft bend in the knees. Allow the jaw to loosen up a little bit here and the forehead as well. Bringing your hands back to the low back just to release them down to the ground and walk them forward slightly so you straighten out your spine. Now let's look towards your right foot at the top of the mat. Start walking your way around and pivot your toes to your back in a long lunge. Press the palms into the ground and you're going to step the right foot back into a wide lunge. So the feet are almost as wide as the mat. Let's drop your heels to the right side. Float the left arm to the sky. And we'll go the other way. Left palm drops down. Shift the heels to the left, right arm reaches. So you can do that 1 more each side if you like, followed by a flow, or go straight to downward facing dog at any point, which will be our meeting point. Decide what you need today. It will be different for everyone. Heading to the other side. Inhale, stretch the left leg to the sky. And as you exhale, a big step forwards between the hands. Pressing through the feet, rise all the way to stand. High lunge. Gilly, can you come over here? Come on. Gilly, with this, come on. Yeah, good girl. Okay. Now we will open up this into a twist. So the right arm comes forward, left arm goes back. So very familiar. We've been here a few times before. Now you've got an opportunity, if you'd like, to switch the gaze back behind you or keep it steadily forwards. Now we'll all start turning back to the front. Bring your arms with you, pressing those balls away and flex into the wrists, fingertips point up. Take a moment, we'll juice those oranges again. Just decide which shoulder comes forwards first, and then switch a few times. Good. Okay, now let's start opening up. Find your warrior 2. You can let those wrists go and just surf it out a bit, reaching forwards and backwards. Eventually trying to settle the torso over your hips. Reversing the shape. Right arm touches the back leg, left arm stretches to the sky. Enjoy that stretch on the left side. Let's go the other way. Forearm rests on thigh. Find this big air guitar here. Hand comes down, comes up to frame the face, and just do 2 more big shoulder rotations. Eventually, once again, finding that arm by the ear, gazing upwards and spiraling the heart to the sky. All right, let's press all the way back up, straighten your front leg, and we're gonna pivot the left toes to the long edge of the mat. This time around, the heels come in a little bit, and we're gonna bend the knees. So finding our goddess squat, squeeze those glutes so that you find nice wide open hips here, imagining that they're gonna draw back behind you. We'll bring the hands to the inner thighs and lean forward with a straight spine. So it's a nice big angle, okay? Let the shoulders scrunch up by the ears and just rotate the spine, one shoulder going forwards at a time. Good. Okay, we'll straighten everything out, pivot the toes forward, and with a flat spine, fold over the legs. Keep the spine long so the fingertips are right below you. And once again, we'll rotate towards the left foot. Walk those hands around. Come into this long lunge. Press the palms into the ground so you can sweep your left leg back into this wide plank. Now you've got so many opportunities here to flow if you'd like through these flowing planks. Take a vinyasa or go straight to stillness and child pose or downward facing dog. Okay. Take a peek between the hands, bend the knees a lot. Tiptoe hopper step to meet the hands. Lengthen everything out when you arrive. Exhale, float back down. And we're gonna bend into the knees, come back into your chair. Press into both feet and rise to stand. Let that one settle, widen your feet about hip distance. Give yourself just a gentle sway. All right. Take a breath in. Reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, float forward. Inhale, lengthen out tailbone to crown. Exhale, bring the palms to the ground and step back to plank. Take a breath in plank. Exhale, lower to belly or chaturanga. Inhale for one back bend of choice. Exhale, meeting in downward facing dog. Okay. Inhale to reach the right heel back behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, a giant step forwards between the hands. Okay, we're going to glue a few of these pieces together. So just keep the left arm onto the ground. Stretch the right arm to the sky. In this familiar twisted lunge. Now, let us start getting a little lighter on the bottom hand, so tenting into the fingers. Just as we had before, make sure you have a nice wide stance. You feel grounded in the feet. And start reaching the top arm up so much that allows yourself to pull up into the standing twisted lunge that is very familiar to us by now. Good. Okay, so we're going to take that back hand, drop it down behind you, try to feel around for your back thigh. So it would be the left thigh. And stretch the right arm by the ear. So it's a little bit twisty. It's also a bit of a back bend. Keep the gaze back behind you. Now, let's bend into the left elbow as you lean way forward. Tuck that elbow onto the outside of the right knee. Bring the right palm on top and then press that hand down to spiral the heart open to the right side of the room. One more breath. Let's take a look down to your bottom foot. Unleash the arms. So a big windmill open. We're opening to warrior two. Let that back heel drop down, get grounded. Good. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Straighten your front legs, sweep the fingertips up overhead. And then exhale, bend back into your front knee, warrior two. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, warrior two. One more. Good. Let's bring those hands back behind you, clasp the palms. Draw the hands down the back body to lift the heart. And we'll come into humble warrior. Drop the chest down to the inner right thigh. Arms might choose to lift up over the head to stretch the shoulders. You might also want to stay nuzzled on your back. Begin pressing through the feet. Pull the hands back to the back body. Release them out for warrior two. Now we'll take a look past your front fingertips. Cartwheel the hands to the ground to frame your front foot. All right, so we're going to enter towards a side plank, and there's so many different variations. Option one is to heel toe that right foot to the edge of the mat, maybe even off the mat. Start pivoting to the outside of your back foot and left palm, and let the right arm float to the sky. Now, option B could be to walk that foot back, keep them side by side. And option C I'll leave you with today would be to stack the feet. Wherever you are, just hold on for one more breath. Feel the strength pressing the mat away. And that top hand can come down under the shoulders. You can follow it by a slow or press straight to downward facing dog. Good. Let's head to the other side. Inhale to stretch the left leg back behind you. And exhale, a big step forward between the hands. The right palm gets comfortable on the ground. The left arm stretches up. Okay, so before we do anything else, ask yourself these questions. If you've got enough with a wide stance, how you're feeling there. Then move slowly, just get a little lighter on the bottom hand, tensing into the fingers. Gaze up at the top hand and let it pull you all the way up to stand. Okay, so left arm's back, right arm's forward. Your back hand reaches back, tries to find the back thigh, and then stretch the right arm by the ear. Nice and slowly, we'll lean forwards as you bend the right elbow, tuck it behind the knee, and palms could come to stack. Press the top hand down to lift the heart, spiral the chest open to the left. We're heading towards that big unwind to warrior two. Look down at your bottom foot, unravel the arms, a big spiral open, and your back heel drops down. Let's inhale, straighten the front leg, fingertips float to the sky. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, warrior two. Last one. Hands come back behind you. With your non-dominant grip, just lace the fingertips together. Lift the chest and draw the hands down the back body. Let's bow forward towards the inner left thigh in humble warrior, and decide if you want to stretch the arms up to the sky or not. Start bringing the hands back to the low back and lift the chest up, release them out, warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down to the ground. And we're going to head back for any variation on your side plank. So widening the stance, pivoting to the blade edge of the right foot, and possibly coming to stack. Think about that concept of rooting down through your bottom hand to reach up with the top one. And bring both palms down for a flow or to your resting posture. From this downward facing dog, let's all come forwards to plank. And we're going to lower down to your stomach. When you get there, just create a little pillow with your hands under the forehead. And let yourself feel your belly breath for a moment or two. Tilly, come here. Here, come on. Come here, lay down. All right. Let's at this point, bring the hands back behind you. So the backs of the hands touch the ground. Begin rolling the shoulder blades together. Try to ground through your pubic bone into the ground to lengthen out the low back. And then start floating the backs of the hands off the ground. You're already in a half locust. You keep the tops of the feet rooted down or float them up as well. 2 more breaths. And let it all go. Hands can come back under the forehead or place the opposite ear to the mat. Let's come up to a Sphinx position. You bring your forearms to the ground, the fingertips face forwards, and elbows are right under the shoulders. Draw the heart forward. Let the shoulders stay relaxed. Trying to find a nice deep back bend in the mid-spine. Okay, let's release that work you created. And we're gonna move the right fingertips, just tuck them behind the left elbow. Now take your left fingertips, bring them in front of your right elbow. Walk the hands, little inchworm style, away from each other until we can't really go any further. You've really separated the shoulder blades a lot here, and then just rest your chin on your upper arm. As you breathe, just notice everything moving and expanding and shifting. Let's start inchworming our way back to where we started. And then come back into a Sphinx position. Ascend the heart forward, drop the shoulders down again. Enjoy this back bend for 2 more breaths. We'll shift the other way. Left fingertips drop behind the right elbow. Right fingertips come in front. Start walking the hands away from each other. When I can't go any further, rest yourself down for a few breaths. Nice and slowly, let's come all the way back up and we'll rest back onto the belly. Take your right hand by your side, stretch it out from the shoulder, and your left arm is going to come to the mat by your side. We're going to bend into the left knee and start pressing yourself onto the right side body. So the sole of the foot comes behind you as a little kickstand. Make sure you rest your neck as well and you're not holding it up in space. Take a couple of breaths here. So we're trying to stretch out the front of the shoulder into the pec area. Begin rolling all the way back to your front of the body. We'll switch sides right away. So left arm comes out from the shoulder, right hand under or by your side. Bend into the right knee and start pressing yourself onto the left side body, finding your kickstand again. Nice and slowly, let's come back to the stomach. Both hands come by your side. Press your hips to heels in a child's pose. just to find lots of roundness. As this time around, bring the hands back behind you and let your shoulders fall forward. Begin sitting on upright, and we'll swing your legs out ahead of you. All right, if you like to use some props under your feet and forward fold, just go gather them now. Otherwise, we're going to keep your left leg straight and bend into the right knee. Let the knee fall out to the side. So it looks a bit like a seated tree. Fingertips draw behind you just to lengthen the spine out as much as you can. And you might want to stay upright, just breathing that breath into the hips, asking them to relax, or wander yourself forward. If you are coming forward, try to keep that length in the low spine. So it's trying to stretch your heart way past your toes. We're slowing the practice down to the last few minutes of movement. So let the breath slow down as well. We'll begin to come upright again and bring the hands behind you to lean into them. Take your right ankle and cross it onto your thigh. Now, continue to lean back into the hands as you bend the left knee and bring the sole of the foot to the ground. And everyone's going to have a different area where they want to go. So you can walk that foot closer if you'd like, or walk it further away from you. Keep a really active right ankle, so the toes point up, and then try to just press your right thigh away from you a little bit more in this figure 4 shape. We'll start wiggling your left foot back ahead of you again, and just allow the right sole of the foot to go to the opposite side of your extended leg. The right palm goes behind you, lean into it. Stretch the left arm by the ear for a big breath in. And as you exhale, come into your twist, tucking the elbow behind the knee. Stay active, growing taller with the inhales, rotating on your exhales. Let's release this side. Take one breath, looking off the opposite way towards the left. And we'll release. Lean back into the hands again as you switch legs. Right leg one straight. Left knee bends, the knee falls out. Press the fingertips into the mat behind you. Grow as tall as you can. And if you're hinging forwards, begin doing so. Try to find that softness again in the breath and in the mind and in the body. Come vertical again. Hands draw back so you can cross the left ankle over right thigh. Bring a bend into the right knee. Decide how deep you want to go into this hip opener. Keep active in the left ankle and pressing the left thigh away. Begin wiggling your right toes back ahead of you, and we'll drop the sole of the foot to the opposite side of your extended leg. Lean into the left palm behind you, reach the right arm by the ear for a big breath in, and as you exhale, bring the elbow behind the knee. Shifting back through center, take one breath, looking off to the right. And we can release. Uncross the legs. Wiggle your toes to the top of the mat. With a bend in the knees. So give yourself lots of room behind you. If you like to use props for Shavasana, just bring those items close to you now. Reach your arms forward, offering your best friend a nice little gift here, and slowly roll all the way down to your back. Now, when you get there, stretch the heels long ahead of you. Bring the backs of your hands to the ground for a moment. And let's come back into a couple of those snow angels. Reaching the arms up overhead and back down by your side. Just a couple more of those. The next time your hands come back by your side, let them rest there. Feeling your shoulders relax onto the ground, pelvis nice and supported and toes falling apart. Let go of any controlled breathing you may or may not have been holding onto this practice. And allow your eyes to flutter shut. Begin deepening the breath again. Letting that stir in the body. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and toes. Stretching your arms overhead and toes far away. Taking your time. Roll over to one side and we'll meet in a seat. Bring your palms to heart center. Sit nice and tall. And today, let's close practice by bringing something in mind that you're grateful for today. I want to thank you for joining me, whether you're live or joining later. Thank you for your practice and energy. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.